Every Spider-Man Ever presents Amazing Spider-Man issue 34. Kraven the Hunter has a bust on his wall, waiting to wear a Spidey mask when Kraven finally hunts and kills the wallcrawler, and that's what he's going to do today, so he practices by drinking a magic potion and wrestling a lion. Elsewhere, Peter Parker reveals his secret identity to Betty, except that not really, it's just Betty having a nightmare. She consoles herself that there's no way that Peter could be Spider-Man, she just wishes that she could guess the actual secret that's keeping them apart. Later, at college, Gwen Stacy is beset with suitors, and Peter is finally ready to embrace the other students there. He was distant because his aunt was ill, but now that she's well and at home, Peter can finally make friends. Except that Harry Osborn just won't let him. Peter can't be cold and distant one moment and then just expect to be nice and have everything change. Gwen feels conflicted though. Maybe he had a reason to be distant, but she thinks that Peter's more interested in his science than a girl like her. At home time, Peter has to stop himself from stopping crime. He needs to be home with his recovering Aunt May, not Spider-Manning around the city. But that might all have to change because Kraven is plotting in the Chameleon's old lair. And, completely unconnected, Spider-Man, and definitely not Kraven in disguise, attacks J. Jonah Jameson in the streets. The public are disgusted. Spider-Man really is a criminal. And that's news for the real Spider-Man, who was relaxing at home with his aunt. But he can't go chasing after this imposter. He needs to look after May, especially since she's just recovered from having radioactive blood, which was not as fun as the theme song makes it sound. And so, while Peter is stuck at home, the spider imposter continues to harass Jonah over the coming days, and Jonah low-key loves it because he's now selling even more papers. Luckily for Peter, Mrs. Watson arrives one evening to chat with May, and he can sneak away to become his alter ego. But his hunt for the fake Spidey is not much of a hunt, because that fake Spidey wants to be found, shining a spider signal to draw the attention of Peter. It's so obvious that a gang in the streets below see it and head up to the building to beat up that criminal Spider-Man and claim some of the reward. Spider-Man, the real one, reaches the rooftop where he saw the light, and the fake Spider-Man reveals himself to be Kraven, of course. Kraven sprays Spider-Man with a special pheromone spray designed to dull his spider sense, and then leads our hero onto a chase through a booby-trapped building, traps that Spider-Man can no longer sense. The chase leads down into the building where Spider-Man comes face to face with that gang from before, looking for a payday. Spider-Man fights the men that attack and then escapes through a window, realizing too late that his dulled spider sense is tingling and getting grappled by Kraven. But there's more of the gang, so Spider-Man stops fighting Kraven and Kraven stops fighting Spider-Man so they can both take out the gang together. And with that gang finally defeated, Kraven gets the drop on Spider-Man, landing on him from above. But Spider-Man's jokey attitude enrages the Hunter, enough to make him sloppy, enough to let Spider-Man land just one blow. He follows that one blow up with more hits, and eventually Spider-Man triumphs over Kraven the Hunter. After webbing Kraven and the gang up for the police, Peter Parker thinks about taking pictures to sell to the Daily Bugle, but that would mean running into Betty Brant, and losing her is too much for him to deal with right now, so he goes home instead. Later, and because he is a man of honor, Kraven admits to impersonating Spider-Man, showing the evidence to the police. It drives J. Jonah Jameson angry. Once again, Spider-Man comes out looking like a hero. His anger is interrupted by his new secretary, hired because Betty quit suddenly? If only someone would tell Peter, who ends our story wallowing in his room, about his romance with Betty and the Spider-Man secret that is keeping them from being together. Thanks for watching, and while you decide what to watch next, here's a fun fact about this issue. This is the 50th comic issue that Spider-Man has appeared in, and it's the 7th time that he's been impersonated. Twice by Flash, once by the Chameleon, once by Mysterio, once by the Human Torch, and once by a robot from the future.